When was the last time someone's consideration deeply touched you? How can you build that same thoughtful awareness into your daily life? The High Value Woman podcast, founder of the High Value Woman Academy. My name is Nse, an international etiquette consultant. I am so excited to welcome you to another episode dedicated to something that sits at the very core of refinement, presence, and true elegance: etiquette. I will start by clearing a few things up. Etiquette is not about stiff rules or old-fashioned customs. It is not reserved for the wealthy, and it is certainly not about pretending to be somebody you are not. Etiquette is for everyone. It is modern, it is current, and deeply necessary in today's world. Etiquette is not performance. It's a lifestyle. It is how we honor the people around us through small, thoughtful choices. Whether you're hosting brunch at home, leading a boardroom meeting, or navigating everyday relationships, etiquette guides you to do so with warmth, grace, and clarity. At its core, etiquette is the art of consideration. It is the gentle structure that shapes how we treat other people with kindness, respect, and emotional intelligence. Etiquette helps us enter a room with presence, speak with intention, listen with full attention, move with grace, no matter the setting. Etiquette also helps us make other people feel seen, safe, and valued. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It teaches us to move through the world in a way that honors both ourselves and other people. Today, we begin with the principles of etiquette. They are not just nice to have traits. They are the invisible crown you wear, the energy that speaks before you do. Respect. This is something I am very big on. I give it freely, both to the young and the old. I never use my position or authority to look down on anyone. And if I make a mistake, I am quick to apologize, even to my own children. In fact, in our home, we sometimes disagree on certain issues. But when we finally understand one another, each person apologizes, whether it's me or them. I'm not perfect, but I try my best to live in peace, respectfully with everyone around me. The same applies to my friendships. If I ever realize I have disrespected a friend, I am always ready to apologize. Respect matters to me. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I had the best sales representative in my business. She was truly amazing with all of our clients. Everyone loved her. But one day, I arrived at my store and my neighbor told me that my staff disrespected her. Now, my neighbor could sometimes be a little nosy, but at the same time, she was about the age of my mother, while my staff was in her 20s. The age difference was more than 30 years. I called my staff and asked, "What happened?" She narrated her side of the story and I listened. Then I told her something very simple. Whether you're right or wrong, please go back and apologize, show respect, and do it today. I left the store that evening trusting that she would. But I could not return to the store for the next 2 days. On the third day, as we were closing up, I asked her if she had apologized. She looked at me and said, no. In that moment, I knew what I had to do. I asked her for the store keys and told her to leave. To me, that was double disrespect. Not just to my neighbor, but to me as her employer. I heard for a few weeks without a sales representative, but guess what? God sent me another one, Abigail, and she was 10 times better than Gladys. Respect is not negotiable. It's the foundation of how I choose to live and how I expect people around me to carry themselves. Respect begins with how you treat yourself. It is found in your boundaries, your posture, your tone, and then it flows outward into how you treat other people, regardless of status, background, or religion. We show respect not just by what we refrain from doing, but also by intentional acts, like being on time, dressing appropriately, or giving full attention to the people we are with. A high-value woman is not boastful or pushy, but she is secure in a way that inspires confidence in other people. She understands that her physical attributes or talents do not really matter. What really matters is her integrity and her character. I want you to ask yourself this question today. Where in my life do I need to raise the standard of respect for myself and for other people? Another principle of etiquette is kindness. Years ago, a mentor told me, kindness is given without keeping records. That stayed with me because in the world of etiquette, kindness means your presence is safe. You offer your patience, your smile, and your compassion, not because it is expected, but because it is who you are. Kindness is the softness that strengthens your presence. It is doing something for someone without expecting anything in return. People may not always remember your words, but they will never forget how you made them feel. The truth is, many people only do things for other people because they want something back. It is not entirely wrong, but that is not kindness. That is, I rub your back and you rub mine. True kindness flows without a contract. For me, kindness often comes as a quiet nudge in my spirit. Sometimes I see a stranger and I just know to give or to help. Not because I have too much, but because I am wired to feel empathy. I believe it may have come from watching my mother. After the passing of my dad, life was hard. We managed as children. Yet, every time I returned from boarding school, my mom would have adopted another helpless child. Over the years, they grew in number, but we lived with them like siblings. There was no house girl, there was no driver, there was nothing. We shared clothes, we shared meals, and she found a way to still send them to school, even if it was public schools. Her kindness shaped our home. And today, one of those strangers my mom raised still lives with me today. After my mother passed away 5 years ago, she was stranded and I inherited her. Not out of obligation, but out of love, because my mother had planted kindness in me. Here is what I've learned. Expecting earthly rewards for kindness feels like entitlement. When I give, I feel like I am sowing into fertile ground. And yes, in due time, I will reap. but I don't sit around waiting for a reward. Instead, I believe what the Bible says, that God sees the heart. I give from my heart, and God rewards me in ways money can't buy. With good health, with favor, with my daily bread, with long life. And when I look at my children, I see the fruit of kindness in their lives. Their morals, their academics, their character. That to me is a reward beyond measure. Kindness is not weakness. It is strength wrapped in softness. It is the invisible fragrance you leave behind long after you've walked out of the room. And perhaps the greatest truth is this: kindness never dies. It multiplies in people, in communities, and in generations. When was the last time you showed kindness without expecting anything in return? And how did that affect the atmosphere around you? Another principle of etiquette is consideration. The essence of consideration is not about being nice. It's about being aware. It's not about grand gestures, but the discipline of noticing what others overlook and responding with sensitivity. Consideration is more than politeness. It is emotional intelligence in action. It is the ability to sense what someone needs, even if they never say it. It is respect turned practical, showing up on time, keeping promises, and giving your full attention when someone is speaking. For me, consideration is a form of sensitivity, a gentle strength that values people enough to notice their struggles and step in where possible. It may look like giving up your seat on a crowded train for a pregnant woman. It can also look like offering to carry luggage for a parent already carrying a baby. It can look like being mindful of your words, knowing people may be hurting inside. Respecting people's time by not keeping them waiting. And here is the paradox. When you practice consideration, people rarely forget how you make them feel. Consideration is also respecting people's time by not keeping them waiting. And here's the paradox. When you practice consideration, people rarely forget how you make them feel. It is not the grand speeches or accomplishments that people remember most. It's the way you made them feel seen. When was the last time someone's consideration deeply touched you? How can you build that same thoughtful awareness into your daily life? Another principle of etiquette is graciousness. This is the ability to make others comfortable and welcome. Graciousness is emotional intelligence wrapped in elegance. It is responding instead of reacting. It is choosing kindness when ego wants revenge. It is having the power to embarrass someone, but choosing instead to uplift them. It is being firm without being rude. It is the calm that walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere. It is the woman who can disagree respectfully. It is the friend who gives space instead of shame. Graciousness is a quiet kind of leadership that leaves a lasting impression. I remember a moment when someone misunderstood me publicly and made an unpleasant remark in front of everyone. Every instinct in me wanted to clap back, but I paused. I smiled gently, and I responded with clarity and calm. Later on, one of the women in the room pulled me aside and said, "You didn't just win the argument, you earned my respect." That is when I learned grace is power, and it is always in style. Another principle of etiquette is honesty. As a certified international etiquette consultant, on 2 different occasions, I was asked to give certificates of attendance to people who did not participate in a course I facilitated. It was tempting. It would have brought visibility and financial gain, but I said no, respectfully and honestly. It cost me a few things in the short term, but I earned long-term trust. Honesty ensures that we act sincerely and with integrity. Honesty gives your words weight. When you speak or act with integrity, even your silence carries power. Etiquette is not about silverware or fancy titles. It is about living with intentional grace. It is about showing up in every room, in every role, with warmth, presence, and power. Etiquette shapes how we lead, how we love, and how we leave lasting impressions. If this episode resonates with you, share it with a friend and join the High Value Woman community. Until next time, may your presence be kind, may your posture be strong, and may every move speak grace. You are the High Value Woman, and etiquette is your quiet power. The High Value Woman podcast, founder of the High Value Woman Academy. My name is Unse, an international etiquette consultant.